The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.
Pow! Bang, 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 bang. Well, anyway, this is a surprise, okay? What's up, Gunsmoke? I see you. Now, look, I'm doing a quick video. Maybe I'll be here for a half hour. Now, I wanted to go live, give you guys a surprise. It's the end of the month over here. It's the last day of the month. So I said, you know what? Let me do a quick video. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the Bonanno Crime Family, okay? I'm going to talk about Joe Massina and all these guys that cooperated in the Bonanno Crime Family, okay? From Joe Massina to Sal Vitale to Frankie Copa to Richie Cantarella to Frankie Lino. I mean, listen, all these captains, the boss, the underboss, they all cooperated, plus other wise guys, Pete Rose, etc., etc., etc. All these guys. And all these guys, what they did was they put a saint in their hand, okay, and they flipped. That's what they did. They cooperated. You know, they took an oath. They took an oath to a family, to a gang, you know, a crime family. And at the end of their lifetime or in the middle of their career, they cooperated because, you know what, they can't do the time. And they don't want the government to take their money. That's what it is. They only know one way of living. And Joe Massina did the ultimate betrayal. He rolled the dice and he knew what he was doing. He said, you know what, I'll go to trial. And if I blow trial, what I'll do is I'll cooperate with the government. And if I beat trial, I'm still the boss of the Bonanno Crime Family. I mean, what do I got to lose, right? I mean, and when they busted this guy, they found gold bars in his ceiling. They found everything. So, you know, it's just, there's so much to it. I have a lot of photos. As I throw up the photos, I'm going to be talking about these guys. Now, I'm going to tell you a little about these guys. Now, even some of these guys, when they were on the street and you heard about them, yeah, he was a captain in Staten Island, you thought that this guy killed 10 people. This guy wasn't involved in one murder. So, you know, these guys, what they do is they live off of the name of the kids in the street, the kids that are around them. They use these young kids, someone like me, someone like Paulie G, someone like the Bath Avenue crew, and they get their own little crew, okay? So they live off of our name because just like Tommy Karate told me and Paulie Galino when we were kids, the streets are for the young, okay? It's the youngins out there that make the bones for themselves. And the old timers just sit back. But it's also Joe Massina. It's like Joe Massina became the boss. And he put all these guys that were multi-millionaires around them. If you were the goose with the golden egg, he made you a captain. Frankie Copa, captain. Richie Cantarella. I call him Richie Catellia because that's what he did. He told everything once he cooperated because that guy, I was away with him in jail, Richie Cantarella. And that guy cried like a bitch. Believe me, this guy had tons of money. He had parking lots in Manhattan that were worth maybe $200 million. This guy got so much money, forget about it. Kidding me? But this is the story I want to tell you. I'm going to throw some photos up. Jersey Girl, I see you. Gaetano, Bracco, Doug's dog training and daycare. What's up, Doug? Doug, if you got a dog training and daycare, you could come on the show. And what we'll do is we'll try to get donations for the animals. Maybe you are interested in that. I love animals. I love dogs. So, if you're interested, you can reach out to me at therealjimmycalandra@gmail.com. Always earning. I see you. Gunsmoke, Carmine D, and Tommy D Streams, Philly in the building. What's up, Tommy? Well, so far we got 80 people in the chat. I'll tell you the truth. I was just going to record this. And I said, you know what, let me go live. Let me see what everybody's doing today. I mean, it's the end of the month. Tomorrow's April 1st. And, we'll see what the future holds. Sling Blade, I see you. You're a dog guy too. But, all right, so let me do this. And because, you know what it is? Because, look, people say that I put Anthony Sparrow away, okay? My testimony for Anthony Sparrow was this. Look, nothing. All I did was corroborate a story about Vincent Bickelman, okay? That Paulie G killed Vincent Bickelman for Sparrow because Vincent Bickelman robbed Anthony Sparrow's daughter's house, which is a true story, okay? But these people that like to lie and tell stories, I could go on, but I'm not even going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they're all clowns and they're lowlifes out there. That's what they are. And they glorify these gangsters. There's one thing about me, look, you know what? In life, is there some good gangsters out there that were gentlemen that treated me right? Yes, there were. Was there bad guys? There's a ton of them. And there's this many good guys. This many, just a few, just a handful, but the rest are all probably assholes and bad guys, okay? And I don't glorify nobody in that life, okay? And I didn't realize who I was until my back was against the wall. I was about 30 years old, and I said to myself, I said, you know what? I do not want to waste my life in prison, okay? I have a brain. I have a good family, totally legit. And I also have, on my father's side, law enforcement. Lots of law enforcement on my father's side. People I never knew until later on in life. Because I basically only really knew my mother's side, But we're going to get into this. Thank you all for coming in today. I see Crystal Ward. Hi, Crystal. Steve Manchester. Give a few shout outs to you guys. I appreciate all the love you give me. You guys send me a lot of messages. I try to get to as many messages as I can. And so let's do this, okay? This is going to be a good one. You're going to like this. So we're going to be talking about this guy today, okay? This is Joe Massina, all right? Joe Massina, as you know, he was the boss of the Bonanno Crime Family. He was involved in killing the 3 captains back in the day. There was a struggle for the Bonanno family. He was involved in killing the 3 captains. He became the boss. And what he did was, after he became the boss, he made Sal Vitale, his brother-in-law, that was once a correction officer. Understand this, okay? Because I want you to understand what the mob is, okay? If you're at the top, you could do anything you want. But if you're in the street, you can't. But he made Sal Vitale, his brother-in-law, that was once a correctional officer, his underboss, okay? It's unheard of. Back in the day, the old-time wise guys probably would have never, ever let that happen. If you had any kind of correction officer, a police officer, anything like that, you could never, ever get straightened out in the mob, okay? So we're going to talk about Joe Massina today, all right? Now, this is Anthony Graziano and Joseph Massina. Now, Anthony Graziano was a captain in Staten Island in the Bonanno Crime Family, okay? Actually, he was Fabrizio Di Franzisi's captain, okay? As you know, Anthony Sparrow puts up Fabrizio Di Francisci. He proposes him. And Fabrizio gets straightened out sometime in November of 1999. That's the time I got home. When I got home, he just got straightened out. And within 6 months later, Fabrizio's looking at 35 years in prison. But this is the guy that he reported to. He's a captain in the Bonanno family, Anthony Graziano. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Anthony Graziano, okay? You know, he's related to the mob wives in Staten Island, Jen and the other sister. But Anthony Graziano, when he got arrested, his first time he got picked up, he went to a camp, okay? It was right across the way in McKean. It was McKean Camp, okay? Or a camp somewhere in that area. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I first got locked up, okay, at the age of 19, I went from Rikers Island to Bear Hill for 3 months. When I got picked up at the age of 23, okay, I went straight to a max security, a 50-foot wall, Lewisburg Penitentiary, okay? I never was in a camp ever in my life, okay? I'm lucky I made it to a medium. I never even made it to a low, just to let you guys know. Because when I was out there in the street, ever since I was a kid, okay, I was a hardcore, serious criminal. And I would never, ever think about ever giving anybody up. But once I was involved in that situation that Tommy Reynolds put me in, okay, when we went to go commit that home invasion to rob a safe, and Tommy kills the lady by accident. And it was an accident because there's 4 people there: Chris Paciello, Michael Yamin, me, and Tommy Reynolds. And 3 of us cooperated. Chris cooperated, Mike Yamin cooperated, and I cooperated. So all 3 of us corroborated that story. And on the stand, when they asked me, did Anthony Sparrow have anything to do with killing that woman? My answer was no. Anthony Sparrow had nothing to do with it, and Anthony Sparrow knew nothing about it, okay? Just to give you a heads up and let you understand who I am, okay? Now, Anthony Graziano was a captain in the Bonanno family in Staten Island. Now, if you met this guy back then, in all honesty, okay, I'm not even bullshitting. I tell the truth. I'm a straight shooter. I say it the way it is. You would think that this guy killed 12 people. Seriously, this guy killed nobody. He wasn't involved in one fucking murder. Not one. Okay? So it just goes to show you what these guys are about. Okay? It's all about the young kids that are around them. That's who they make their names off of, the young kids that are around them. The streets are for the young. The old timers got the brains. What they do is they put that "I'll make you" in front of your face. It's like a carrot in front of a horse, and you do anything you want from them. It's like you're at their disposal. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that. Okay? So out of these 2 guys, Joe Massino cooperates. Okay? Because what I'm getting at is that my testimony against Anthony Sparrow was nothing. And if Anthony Sparrow would have beat that trial, the big guys were coming out next. Joe Messina was going to testify against Anthony Sparrow. Sal Vitale was going to testify against Anthony Sparrow. Frankie Lino was going to testify against Anthony Sparrow. Frankie Copa was going to testify against Anthony Sparrow. And Frankie Cantarella was going to testify against Anthony Sparrow. And his son, Paul Jr. Cantarella, was going to testify against Anthony Sparrow. So you had all these guys that eventually were going to testify against Anthony Sparrow, and they were all captains and wise guys. So even if Sparrow would have beat that trial, okay, Paulie Galino murder, the Joe Pizza murder, and the Louis Tuzio murder, he was still going to get indicted on another trial. But because he got life, they didn't indict him. I just wanted you guys to understand that. Now, this is another guy, okay? Frank Copa. This guy, Frank Copa, has more money than God. Okay. And there's Joe Massino. I think this is at the Atlantis somewhere. These guys with big money. Now, Joe Massino, all he did was he put all guys with money around him, and he made them all captains because they were all the goose with the golden egg. If you had the money, you know what? I'm making you a captain. If I'm the boss, I'm making you a captain. You know why? Because I want to make sure that I get some of that money. And this guy, Frank Copa, he was one of the first guys who cooperated. He didn't get no jail time. He was right there, the first one at the door. They gave him a slap on the wrist. Okay, you know what? Go home, go right into the witness protection program, and this is what you get. Okay? When we need you, we'll call you when you're ready to testify. That's what they do. Okay? So that's Frank Copa. So he would have been another guy that would have been testifying against Anthony Sparrow. Joe Massino, too, would have been testifying against Anthony Sparrow. And they use these guys. They hold on to them for if they ever need them in the future. They reach out to them, you know, would you willing to testify against this one or that one? That's what they do with these guys. Now, here's another photo. Now, look at this photo, okay? You got Frankie Lino. He cooperated with the government, okay? He was a captain in the Bonanno Crime Family. He was actually in the house when they killed the three captains, Sonny Red and the other two guys. They were captains that wanted to take over a family. Then you have Sal Vitale, okay? Sal Vitale was the underboss. That was Joe Massino's brother-in-law. And then you got Joe Massino, okay? All three of these guys, you got the boss, the underboss, and the captain. All three of them cooperated, okay? And they all had tons of money. They wanted to make sure that they took their money with them, okay? Now, Frankie Lino, I knew very well. He's an Avenue guy. So is Frankie Copa. He was an Avenue guy. And I knew these guys very well. I used to have a lot of conversations with Frankie Lino. Frankie Lino is actually the one who told me who killed Charlie LaRocca and Georgie Crowbar. And he told me that it was Jerry Papa. So that's how I know that. This is another Frankie Lino, nicknamed Frankie Curly. His cousin is Eddie Lino. Eddie Lino baptized little Georgie Adamo. Eddie Lino was very good friends with Georgie Crowbar. I'm going to be doing a story on Georgie Crowbar. I have a lot of photos of at Georgie's baptism, at his sister's baptism. And Frankie Hart, the guy who got blown up with Frankie the Chico, baptized Georgie's sister, and Charlie LaRocca baptized the other sister. Now, as you know, I have children with one of them, so I'll be doing a story later on Georgie Crowbar with lots of old-time photos at baptisms. And these guys, back in the day, I'm going to tell you, these guys always had a gun on them, okay? They wouldn't go anywhere without a gun. And if you walked in a restaurant, they would make sure that they were always facing the door and they had a pistol. These guys were real-time gangsters back in the day. But at the end of their lifetime, they cooperate because you know what? There's no way in the world they're going to spend their life in prison. Some guys do, but those guys are fools, okay? Now, this photo is Anthony Sparrow and Sal Vitale. Now, this would have been another guy that would have been testifying against Anthony Sparrow, Sal Vitale. So you would have had, again, Frankie Lino. You would have had Sal Vitale. You would have had Frankie Copa. You would have had Richie Cantarella. You would have had Joe Massina. And Anthony Sparrow was done. Believe me, he was done. The murders that Joe Massina would have came out with was more than 3 murders that we gave the government. And Paulie Galino murder, I had nothing to do with. Okay, that was actually my best friend. And when I testified on Sparrow, I'll tell you right now, that was personal for me. I don't give a fuck about Anthony Sparrow. I'll tell you straight up, fuck him. Okay, you killed my friend that actually did a piece of work for you. because you wanted Vincent Bickerman dead, and you told Paulie G, and Paulie G wanted to get straightened out so bad, and then later on, you end up killing him. So that's the treachery in the mob. I'm just giving all you guys a heads up, okay? Now, also, here's another photo. This is a photo of Anthony Sparrow again. That's Sal Vitale in the white shirt. The guy in the middle might be Restivo. I'm not sure, but he does look familiar. But anyway, all these guys, the guy in the middle is a captain. Anthony Sparrow, you got with the jogging suit on, and you got Sal Vitale with the white shirt. So I'm just letting you know, look, all these photos would have been used in Anthony Sparrow's trial, okay? If he would have beat his first trial, they would have had a second trial, and Joe Massina would have testified against Sparrow, okay? And all these other guys, just to give you a heads up. Now, here's another photo. In this photo, you have Joe Massina, you have Tommy Karate, Patera in the middle, and you have Frankie Lino. Now, Frankie Lino was Tommy Patera's captain, okay, until Tommy became an acting captain later on. But Frankie Lino was his captain, so Tommy Patera would report to Frankie Lino. And Frankie Lino, I got to tell you, in the street, Frankie Lino was the most funniest guy ever. He would crack jokes all day long. If you were in a club with him, if you were anywhere with him, he had a hell of a sense of humor. He was a funny guy. He would crack jokes all day long. Now, this is a guy right here. This is Paul Cantarella, okay? Now, let me tell you about Paul Cantarella, because you guys got to understand the mob, okay? Now, Richie Cantarella was the goose with the golden egg, okay? He was very close with Joe Massina, and he had zillions of dollars. So this kid, Paul Cantarella, he's running around with some guy, Vinny Gorgeous, that we end up breaking his jaw, okay? He ended up robbing some banks. I sent Fabrizio, Mike and Meany to his house. Soon as the guy, Vinny Gorgeous, comes out of the house, Fabrizio, Mike and Meany give him a beating, okay? So my friend Gerard at the time, he's dead now. He comes to me, he says, Jimmy, he says, Fabrizio, Vinny Gorgeous. Now, this was all set up. I set up this whole thing, okay, with Vinny Gorgeous, because he was robbing a whole bunch of banks, and we found out he was making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I got together with Paulie G. When I got together with Paulie G, I said, you know what, let's send Fabrizio and the kid Mike and Meany to the kid Vinny Gorgeous' house. The kid Vinny Gorgeous lived up between Bath Avenue and Cropsey, off the corner. And when Vinny Gorgeous came out of the house, Fabrizio and the kid Mike and Meany just bang, they gave him a fucking beating. They broke his jaw. And I knew he was going to run to Gerard, because he knew who Fabrizio and the kid Mike and Meany was. They were from Bay 23rd, Bath Avenue, with us. So I come up with a scheme. I said, okay, you know what? Let's get $50,000 off him. And he ends up coming to the Bay 23rd. He hands us the 50. Me and Paulie G, I think we took $15,000 a piece. We gave 10 to Fabrizio and 10 to the kid Mike and me. But those are the schemes you get as you're in the street. You scheme on people. You know, people who are making money, you just scheme on them. This kid wasn't around nobody. So anyway, later on, this kid, Paul Cantarella, I'm in jail at the time. Now, this kid didn't deserve to get straightened out. This kid didn't deserve a button. There were so many people before this kid in the street that deserved buttons. But because his father is Richie Cantarella, okay? That's his father, Richie Cantarella, a captain in the Bonanno family. And he's close with Joe Massina. So he goes to Joe Massina. He says, Joe, you know, could you straighten out my son? You know, could you make him? Because he knew, Richie Cantarella knew that the lions, the tigers, and bears were in the street. And he wanted to make sure that his son was protected. That's the way the street goes. So far, I hope you're enjoying this story. Now, so Paul Cantarella ends up becoming a made guy with the Bonannos. He don't deserve it. He never did nothing in his life. The guy is a multimillionaire. His father has over $100 million, but he wants to run around the street and make a name for himself. Understand? And you can't touch him because he's made. But this is what goes on in the crime families. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. If you know the guy at the top, you're protected. But the little guy in the street, you aren't. That's why me and my friends, we protected each other. We formed our own crew, okay? We didn't have fathers that were wise guys. We didn't have uncles that were wise guys. We had uncles, wise guy uncles in the street that we called uncles, you know? But we protected ourselves. And if you fucked with one of us, you fucked with all of us. That's why we formed the Bath Avenue crew. Once they killed John Polio, that's it. We weren't having it no more. So that's that. But this kid ends up getting straightened out. Did not deserve it at all. But this is what the mob does. Okay? He probably gave Joe Massina, here, Joe, you know what? Here's 100,000. Or you know what? Here's a $500,000. Do me a favor, Joe. Could you straighten out my son? And he straightened out his son. It goes to show you how much did he love his son, right? And this is another picture of Richie Cantarella. Now, also, I was away with Richie Cantarella. And I got to tell you, Richie Cantarella, he was a crybaby in jail. All he did was cry. What happened was he used to whisper. I put him in a cell. And at the time, this guy, Frankie the Beast, was there. And Frankie the Beast walks in the cell as I'm telling Richie Cantarella, and this is everything I love. On everything I love in my life, okay? I don't lie. I put Richie Cantarella in the cell. You know, I told him, I said, you know, you ever fucking talk about me, my name ever comes out of your mouth again, you know what? I'm going to give you a fucking beating. You see that toilet bowl? I'm going to put your fucking head in it. And you know what he did? He ran to the prosecutor. He called the prosecutor on me. That's what he did, okay? That's what these wise guys are, just to let you know, okay? Me and my friends growing up, we made our own fucking bones, okay? And that's what you're supposed to do. You make your own bones. These guys paid for their buttons. That's what they did. They paid for them. Here's another photo of Richie Cantarella. They call him Shellackhead. These guys are frauds, every fucking one of them. Tons of money I had. That's one of his cars. Tons of money I had. This is his son, Paul Cantarella. This guy was a wise guy at one time. These guys are living the high life. They got millions and millions of dollars, and they're living the high life till this day. They're living the high life. Now, this is also a photo of Tommy Patera and Anthony Sparrow. This would have been a photo. I think one of these photos were used in the courtroom. So this would have been another photo that would have been used against Sparrow with Tommy Karate. Tommy Karate killed dozens of people. This guy, Richie Cantarella, he would have also testified against Sparrow, just like Joe Massina would have testified against Sparrow. His son Paul would have testified against Sparrow. And all these guys would have testified against Sparrow. This guy would have testified against Sparrow. Sal Vitale would have testified against Sparrow. All these guys would have been testifying against Sparrow. Okay? Joe Massino, Frankie Copa would have testified against Sparrow. So I'm just giving you an idea that all these guys would have been testifying against Sparrow, and Sparrow would have got life anyway. So all these people who say, you know, I put Anthony Sparrow away, it's all a bunch of bullshit, okay? In that trial, Joe Calco had the big testimony because he was told from Sparrow to kill Paulie Galino. I wasn't at the Paulie Galino murder. And of course, that's Frank Gangi. This is Frank Gangi. At one time, what happened was he was very close with Tommy Karate. He used to chop people up with Tommy. Now, if you go to my Facebook, There's a video with me, Frank Ganji, a few other guys. Larry Mezzer is in the video. You know, Larry Mezzer says he never met me in one of his video, in one of his things that he talked about. But go look at that video. And Tommy Dades introduces everyone in that video. Tommy Dades does not introduce Larry Mezzer as a made guy in the video that I have on Facebook. So go to my Facebook. You can check it out. Okay. He introduces Larry as an enforcer, not as a made guy. There was only one made guy in the room. That was some guy, JC. Okay. I don't want to say his full name, but they called him JC. He was a made guy with the Columbos. Larry Mezzer was never made. Larry Mezzer made himself. Okay. That's what he did. He made himself. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just a quick one I wanted to share with you. I hope you liked it. But it's just letting all you guys know that the mob is full of shit. Okay? The rules are for the guys at the top, not for the guys that are the small guys. Okay? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. Prince of the City. Always earning. Boston J. I see you. Live and let live. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Until my next one, I love you guys. I love the support you give me. We're strong. And always remember, look, be kind to others because we're all going through something. Every one of us is fighting a battle. I don't care if you had $1 million. You still have some kind of battle you're fighting. Okay? Of course, money helps without a doubt. But, you know what? Mike Tyson said something wise. He said, a reporter asked him, he said, Mike, you know what? You spent over $400 million. You know, how do you feel? You know what Mike Tyson said? He said, how do I feel? He says, actually, I'm happy now. And the reporter said, Mike, how can you be happy? You wasted $400 million. He said, because when I had all that money, I didn't know who the people were around me. They were only there because of what I had. They weren't really my friends. He said, but now I'm happy because I have nothing. And it's true. You could be so much more happier when you have nothing. Because when you have tons of money, you're going to have the Gavones come and they're going to flock to you and they're going to want, and you ain't going to know who your real friends are. When you have nothing and you're down on your luck, that's when you know who your real friends are. So keep that in mind. I'm only trying to give lessons out. I want to use my platform to help people. And listen, keep God in your life. God first. I'll tell you, without God in my life, I can never have the strength I have. Never. Nothing could touch me. With that said, I love you guys. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you in my next video. And I got some good guests coming. With that said, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.
The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed. It's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.